The UFC pound for pound list has updated, man. It's updated. And of course, Magomed Ankalaev would just be Alex Pereira. He made his debut and he beat the number 3 ranked guy. And I just want you guys to know this before the fight. Like, people were even arguing for Pereira like number 1. He's so active. He's beating all these people. He should be number 1 pound for pound over Islam. You know, all this talk before the fight and all this stuff. After he beat Khalil, he was put at number 2, you know. And then he goes in there against Magomed Ankalaev and gets outstruck badly on the feet. He gets beat up. He gets the beats on him bad on the feet, you know. And even in the 4th round, Ankalaev said, I could also clinch you and beat you up in the clinch. So he outstruck him, rocked him a bunch of times, you know, and beat him up in a one-sided fight, in my opinion. Did Alex Pereira steal rounds? Yes, he stole rounds. Every single round Alex Pereira won, which in my opinion was only the first round. It wasn't like he had no moments. If I told you to go back and find moments of Alex Pereira on the feet, because he just stood up primarily, you couldn't find me a single moment. Now, I could do the same with Ankalaev. Like, I could actually, matter of fact, I'm gonna show you right now. I could pull up moments that Magomed Ankalaev had against Alex Pereira on the feet, but you can't do the same. And I'm just kicking Alex. Look how he Spartan kicked Alex here. Sent him reeling backwards. That's not it. Just the boxing of Ankalaev, 1, and then the 2 down the pipe. Boom. Sending him bobbling backwards. We have this situation here where he gets rocked, comes in, boom. Alex Pereira falls against the fence, etc., etc. Bro's getting beat up. Holy crap. Follow up, boom, right hook. Got the knees to the body by Ank, boom. And then, of course, that jab. This happened in the 3rd round that people think Pereira won, by the way. Boom. Right down the pipe, rocking Pereira, man. Even in the 4th round, that was all clinching, quote unquote. What was this? Boom. Clean punch lands by Ank. So you got the point. He went in there, he outclassed the number 3 ranked guy on the feet and in the clinch. And he debuts at number 6. Like, am I upset about that? Not really, but in this video, I am going to be fixing these rankings because from 15 to 1, some of them aren't bad. Like, when I was fixing these rankings, I noticed a lot of the UFC's placements and my placements are the same. I'm not going to, like, fully change it up like, oh, pound for pound means this, so I'm going to put Umar Nurmagomedov number 1. You know, I'm not going to do that. But, like, of course, if I were to make a video about, like, actually the most skilled fighters, it would be really different than this video. I am going to show the UFC some respect in this list, so it's kind of going to be just me reversing or switching out some people's order. That's going to be the main concept of this video. But I did replace, and I'm going to talk about it at the start, number 15. Charles Oliveira, I love you. He's a great fighter, you know what I'm saying? But his last 3 fights, it was like, to me. Let's get to fixing overall the ranking system because it needs to be fixed. So let's get to that right now. Okay, so first up, like I said, 15 is not Charles, in my opinion. This is going to be a hot take to some people, man. But I am going to put number 15, Khamzat Chimaev. I feel like just in his last 3 fights, I've seen more. Like, I know it's a hot take, you know, but his last 3 fights was Whitaker, Usman, and Holland, of course, and then Gilbert Burns before that. I know the Holland sucks, man. But, bro, he beat Usman, who's a really tough competitor. And then the way he beat Whitaker, you know, this shows me, like, pound for pound, this guy, he could go to any weight class. I really think at 205, he could have, like, destroyed or beaten Alex Pereira fairly comfortably. Stylistically, I just think his style works well in different weight classes. 170, he was beating everyone, too. He did have that close fight with Gilbert Burns, but I just feel like he deserves it more than Charles. I was looking at Charles' last couple fights. Like, yeah, he beat Michael Chandler. This might be a hot take too, I guess, but I think beating Whitaker in the 1st round by submission is a lot more impressive than, like, kind of going 25 minutes with Michael Chandler, who just looked kind of sloppy and, like, horrible in that fight. That might be a hot take. I'll see what people think about it down below, but, brother, he's already a bad man, bro. Khamzat, overall, I gotta give him the 15 edge because I just feel like Charles, like, he's still talented. He was a former champion for sure. You know, maybe he could, if he beats someone who I think is not bad, I could put him. And also, he lost to Arman in his last 3 fights as well. And Arman's a good fighter too, but, like, I don't know, like, the people you're beating compared to the people you're losing to, I just don't know. Like, I feel like at the end of the day, Charles is losing to the best of the best, but I just don't like his recent win enough to put him over Khamzat, who I feel like his recent win was just more impressive and against a better fighter. So yeah, I do have Khamzat making his debut on the UFC pound for pound list because let's be real, brother, who is really gonna go in there with Khamzat and, like, compete with him at a high level? Like, the thing about Khamzat, what makes him weird, I feel like he's the only UFC fighter you could say this for. Yeah, he's either gonna go in there in the 1st round as a Marauder Max and destroy him, or he's gonna go the distance, it's gonna be close. You can't sit, like, that's not normal to say. Like, we're trying to normalize it like it's normal. Yeah, man, like, brother, Khamzat could just go in there and just, like, do this, or this is gonna happen. You can't really do that with any other fighter. That just shows how special and generational his skill is. Like, it sounds like Glaze, brother, but he's a real bad man. I gotta stick with it. So I'm putting him number 15, bro. Charles, I love you, but Khamzat, brother, dale, brother. You're number 15. All right. So 14, this is where I feel like me and the UFC kind of have agreements. Like, this is where you're going to either see me agree with the UFC or there's going to be some just switches in the picks. There's going to be no new debutants on this list. Hamza's the only one who made the cut. So, number 14, I got Max Holloway. The UFC has Sugar, number 14, but I have Max. Max's last 3 fights was Topuria, Justin, and Korean Zombie, okay? He lost to Topuria. I think, well, you're going to see where I put Topuria. Topuria is one of the best, in my opinion, pound for pound. So losing to him, I'm not going to give him, like, too much disrespect for. And then he beat Gaethje, who was a weight class above, which kind of constitutes the whole pound for pound idea about, oh, you could go any way, do this, and be the best in the world. So I respect that. That was a great win. And then Korean Zombie was the other one. And I was like, oh, yeah, like, that was cool. You know, that was cool. Listen, Max is great, though. Like, the UFC has him at number 13, but I think he's number 14. So I did put Max number 14. The UFC did have Sugar number 14, which I thought was a little bit strange because, unironically, I switched Sugar and Max. Like, I put Sugar number 13. I put Max number 14, while the UFC has Max number 13 and Sugar number 14. The reason I did this because I look at his last 4 fights. Yeah, they're both coming off L's, but I also think Merab's really good. And he lost to Merab. And then he beats Cheeto, beats Aljo, and then he even beat Jan before that. You know, like, Max is good, but I feel like, listen, Sugar's fights are kind of controversial. But I will say, like, the Jan fight specifically, like, Aljo wasn't obvious because he knocked out Aljo. I think knocking out Aljo is better than anything that Max did in his last 3 fights. You know what I'm saying? I guess the Justin Gaethje performance was great, but I really think Aljo could have been number 15, bro. You know what I'm saying? Aljo's really good. Like, he lost to Mozart, but I think Aljo's really good. And the fact that Sugar chinned him was great. And, of course, the Jan fight, yeah, man, controversial, man. But it was controversial. I'm not even going to try to say it wasn't, but it just looks better, like, on the resume than I feel like Max. Max is still great, but I would, in my opinion, I would switch them out. You know what I'm saying? Of course, like, at least he didn't get finished by Merab. I know it's impossible. It's probably statistically impossible to get finished by Merab. But, like, unironically, bro, Merab he fought differently against Sugar. Like, he usually just goes in there, presses the pace, but, like, against Sugar, he was circling. He was a lot more cautious. He respected the power coming back. So it was a good performance by Merab. He dominated, but I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like I think I'm going to put Sugar and Max. I'm going to switch their places. But overall, UFC had the good gist of it, putting them 14-13. I just have it 14-13, just a different order. So, yeah, I'm going to give Sugar the benefit and put him over Max. All right, the number 12 spot, I got Leon Edwards, and same with the UFC. So we're in agreement here. Leon's last 3 fights, Balal Balal picked him up and slammed him on his bald head a couple times. But listen, that's Balal. That's Balal, and you're going to see why I put Balal on this list. But I think Balal's a really good fighter. I've been said Balal was a go. I knew what was going to happen in this fight. You know, yeah, man, bro. Kenny, you didn't know nothing, bro. I predicted this fight perfectly because I just knew the idea of Leon kind of breaking. Yeah, and poor Leon has to go against Sean Brady now. He's supposed to go against JDM. He would have beat JDM. Sean Brady, I feel bad for him. But we'll see how that fight goes. And then Kobe, he beats Kobe. You know, the Kobe win is aging poorly. You know, Kobe looked poor, but Kobe had the excuse he broke his foot. So, like, he kind of gaslit us that he still had it. He just had a broken foot or whatever. But, yeah, he did beat Kobe. That was cool. And then he beat Usman, who was pound for pound number 1 when he first head kicked him. And then in the rematch, he beat him again. So it showed that, listen, maybe it wasn't a fluke. I'm still questionable about how him and Usman would do if they fought 1,000 times. Because I really think if they fought 1,000 times, Leon only wins 2, and he already won the 2. All right, his luck's up. That's no more luck. But Usman was hesitant in that third fight, of course, and it cost him because he just kind of stayed at range and played Leon's game. But yeah, I still think this is. I feel like the UFC got this one right. So me and the UFC on the greens here. 12 is the right spot for Leon Edwards. Number 11, I got Alex Volkanovski, just like the UFC. Looking at his last 3 fights, you start to itch your head a little bit. You know, he's losing to great people. But his last win was Yair, and you don't know if you got one thing about me and Yair. I love Yair, but I don't think he's that good. I just don't think he's that good. I don't know why. It's just like his best performance was probably his Korean Zombie performance, where like he was losing the whole time, and then he found that up elbow to get the finish. That's probably his best win. And Korean Zombie's cool, but brother, this guy's not really on the level of some other people at the time, especially. But yeah, listen. I still reward him highly because, like I said, against the poor, he was doing good till he wasn't. Against Islam, he kind of just got destroyed and head kicked. Oh, but short notice, man. You could use that excuse, I suppose. But I still think I still think Alex Volkanovski, he did beat Max. Before the Yair fight, he had wins over Max and stuff. So that's why I am going to reward him a little high because I know his real skill. He's still there. And I do think he's going to get back in the win column against Diego Lopez. It's just going to be like, hey, bro, if he gets knocked out, it's actually so over. Imagine 3 knockouts back to back to back. That's like a Tony Ferguson-esque run, bro. That'd be so disappointing. But yeah, I don't know. I think he's number 11. I think the UFC got it right, so we don't got to talk about this one too much. All right, now we're in the top 10. This is where it can kind of get interesting. Tom Aspinall, I have the same as the UFC. They had him top 10. I have him top 10 too. His last 3 fights, Blade, Sergey Tybura, is like, you look at those wins, you're like, yeah, he's cool. Like, he's cool. Is he Dale yet? Not really, but he's all right. He's all right. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I feel. Because the thing about Tom, I feel like he's overhyped to an extent, but he's really talented as well. But I feel like being top 10 pound for pound in the world, it shows that you're still one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you should be great. You should be happy being top 10 ahead of people like, I know Volk has a horrible run right now, but like objectively speaking, if someone said Volk was a better pound for pound fighter than Aspinall, I wouldn't be too opposed to it, you know, because but the first Islam fight before he got knocked out, you know what I'm saying, he actually went to war with the pound for pound GOAT. In my, like, not GOAT, yeah, GOAT to me, at least I'll say that. So like, I know Volk has the skill sets, but I think Tom Aspinall, of course, you know, pound for pound list is also, it matters, like activity matters, and you're gonna see it's gonna reflect this list, trust me. Activity matters. He's active as a heavyweight. I think he's the uncrowned heavyweight champion. You know what I'm saying? He's active, so I feel like he needs to be acknowledged as the top 10 best pound for pound in the world. And he's not losing like Volk. So I do agree with the UFC, and I do think he's ahead of Volk. But this is where me and the UFC get into disagreements in a big one. In my next placement, number 9, I have Alex Pereira. Now, Alex Pereira, this one's weird because like I think he got bumped down to number 8, and people were mad that he got bumped down to number 8. But I was looking at that list. He got bumped down to number 8, right? And Pantoja was above him. Like, Pantoja was number 9. So the UFC put Pantoja number 9, a champion who's like never lost, like who's been running through his entire weight class and kind of cleaning it out. Kind of what like Alex Pereira was doing. Like, maybe we look at flyweights, we're like, oh, I don't think Moreno, Rival, and Ursig or Ascura are all that great. But that's his weight class, and that's the best in his weight class. Kind of what Alex Pereira was doing at light heavyweight, except for when he actually went against the number 1 ranked guy, Ankalaev, and then we saw what happened. But unlike Alex Pereira, no offense, he wasn't like, Pantoja's not ducking. Pantoja's not ducking and diving when someone good comes. He's not doing that. So like, Pereira was ducking, and then the second he gets a good person, he gets a beats on him like Dr. Dre, you know, hands on him, lots of bass. One of those things. So listen, I have him number 9. I have him above Pantoja. I don't know how the rankings are so I could go on a whole like 50-minute rant about this because it doesn't make sense how, I don't know if the UFC sees the potential in Pantoja or something, or they just don't like the weight class. Listen, you can't fault the guy. First of all, the weight class is fun and it's competitive. Manel Cap, though, he has fun fights. Kaikar France, you know what I'm saying? Roy Val always has bangers. Moreno has bangers. You know, what are we talking about? It's like, what? Like, it doesn't make sense. That weight class is actually talented. Light heavyweight's not talented. Like light heavyweight is like very top heavy. When they lack so much, like they lack defense, they lack skill. You know, flyweights are all skilled at something. Like, they're all abnormally skilled and quick and talented. You know, and Pantoja's clearing out that division. Do you know how scary that is? Do you know how actually, like, do you know how real, like, how talented the guy is? And then we have Alex Pereira over here, who's beating up all these light heavyweights, goes against the actual number 1 ranked guy and loses pretty comfortably. Like you guys saw in the start of the video, just getting the beats on him like Dr. Dre. So I have him number 9. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this one kind of upsets me a little bit how they disrespect Pantoja, but yeah, Pereira number 9, it still makes sense. I know he was number 3 before this fight, you know, and I know it sucks to put him down a lot of spots. I can understand why Poetards are frustrated, but how I view it and how I viewed this whole situation was Pereira was just avoiding the hardest fight at light heavyweight. The second he got it, he got outstruck, got outboxed, got rocked left and right, got outworked in the clinch. He just got beat up 4 rounds to 1. I'm sorry. So yeah, number 9, I don't hate it. Of course, his last 3 fights, Big Ank L, Khalil W, number 8 ranked guy, and then Yuri W, some guy you already beat before. You know, I guess like his light heavyweight resume is kind of underwhelming when you realize what his situation and what actually happened. But I still would say number 9, cool little ranking, good for Alex Pereira. All right, now we got number 8. You're probably like, oh, are you gonna put Pantoja here? No, I got John Jones. And the UFC, of course, me and the UFC have a huge disagreement. And of course, this is where the UFC put Alex number 8 ranked. John Jones is number 2 ranked in the UFC. I just don't agree with it. And I know there's gonna be a lot of Jones stands. I don't know if Jones Glazers like exist on the YouTube side of things as much anymore. But you know, last 3 fights, Stipe, yeah, old man Stipe, man. Fucking A, bro. Stipe was like, oh man, like Stipe was, he looked like about a 45-year-old fireman, but that's what he is. So like, you got to take it with a grain of salt. You know, Jones finished him at least. Actually, you know, Jones finishing power and Jones, like that used to not really go hand in hand. Like young Jones had finishing power. There's a point where he was just like decision merchant maxing. At least he finished him, you know. And then the Gon finish with submission, that was cool. And then the Reyes fight from 2020. It's crazy. We go through everyone's last 3 fights or last 4 fights on this list, and then you see his last 3 fights. One of it was from 2020. 5 years ago. So there that is. Shows his activity level, which I feel like I said, pound for pound, activity matters and level of opposition, who you're fighting matters. And no offense, Stipe is just not the highest level of opposition. The Gane fight at the time was literally the best fight up, so that's a really good win. But then the Reyes fight was just so long ago. So it shows a lack of activity, and it also shows that your last fight was against a 45-year-old fireman. Literally, not even exaggerating. So number 8. From number 2 in the UFC rankings to number 8 in my rankings, I'm sorry, I have to put Jones 8. I just can't value him that high. Now, at this point on, it's kind of me and the UFC are going to be in disagreements for like, I think the rest of the video. There might be one more same ranking. But yeah, number 7, we got Alexandre Pantoja. This is where he comes into play. So no, he's not number 9 like the UFC said, behind Jones, Pereira, and all these guys. You can't be behind a non-champion, first of all, for the most part, unless you're just like not the undisputed champion or you're not like a good champion. But there's no way I could put Pereira above Alexandre Pantoja. The UFC does have Balal at number 7. But the last 3 fights of Pantoja was Ascura W, Urseg W, and Royval W. These are all good names. These are all the top of the names. Of course, Ascura was a champion in another promotion. Comes over here, gets the beats on him like Dr. Dre. Really good fashion, really quick fashion as well. Pantoja's so good, you know. I think, I don't know what it is about him. There's like, he was the villain in the Moreno fight, beat him up, you know. I think people didn't really like him after that. Like, it was a close fight. He always has fun fights too. Like, he's never really in a boring fight. Like, I don't understand how you could possibly like, what, can you even dislike him? I don't know. Maybe just if you hate short people, dude. But like, what the fuck? Like, I actually don't get the hate behind Pantoja. But listen, man, he's beating this division. He's clearing his division. If he beats Kai Kara France, I guess like maybe Manil, and then like you retire the greatest of all time. Like maybe in UFC at that point, because like who else is there to beat? I don't know. So yeah, 7. I'm gonna put Alexander Pantoja. I already glazed him earlier talking about the Pereira point, so I don't need to say too much glaze here. Just know Pantoja's the truth, and if you don't like it, brother, stop watching UFC. This is my opinion, brother. Number 6, we got Balal. Remember the name Muhammad. Like I said, UFC had him number 7. I have him number 6. The UFC has Big Ink number 6. You know what I'm saying? Which was interesting. That's where Big Ink made his debut. I do think he debuted higher than number 6. You're gonna see why I put Ink later on in the video. But yeah, Balal. Last 3 fights, W against Leon, W against Burns, W against Brady, you know what I'm saying? Finished Brady by TKO, you know, destroyed Burns 50-45, and destroyed Leon, bro. Destroyed him. Like, this guy, he goes in there as an underdog, by the way, underdog in all these fights, and destroyed all of them. Not a single fight was close. You know, even before this, Wonder Boy 30-26, or 30-25, Vicente Luque destroyed as well, like 49-46. He just beats everyone as an underdog, and it's just satisfying to watch. Like, and he has the longest win streak on the welterweight division right now. It's hard to beat him. He's one of those guys I feel like you got to get out of there to beat him. He's going against JDM. I think that's another win. So he's going to probably crack the top 5 very soon, because that fight is like, I think it's in April or something. It seems far, but it's also kind of close, if that makes sense. So yeah, number 6, Balal Muhammad. It shouldn't be that much of a surprise. He's a great fighter. And now number 5, we got the big angster, Magomed Ankalaev, who's coming off a win over Alex Pereira. Oh my God, it was so satisfying, chat, before this fight. How people were saying, oh, dude, Ankalaev hasn't even beat anyone, man. Rakic sucks. Uzdemir sucks. Krivolov sucks. You know, Kudalaba, Walker, they all suck. Thiago Santos, they all suck. Okay, so does Poatan suck now? First of all those names I named, they aren't even bad fighters. But, like I said, casuals don't understand stuff. So, yeah, he went in there and not only beat Alex Pereira, he dominated him in the striking, dominated him in the grappling, dominated him in the clinch, you know what I'm saying? Alex Pereira won the takedown defense. Yeah, man, we have moral victories, man. We stuffed takedowns. He stuffed takedowns to get beat up on the feet. Now what, bro? Like, stuffed takedowns don't mean shit. Like, you guys, I can't believe people are trying to be like, oh, that should count as scoring points, man. That should count as a significant strike, man. Stuffing a takedown should be a significant strike. Bro, get a life, bro. You guys are salty, man. Keep coping, brother. Dial it, though. I like that. Keep coping, brother. Number 5 is Magomed Ankalaev, though. There's no doubt in my mind. He's a top 5 fighter pound for pound, and he's special. Like, no one could touch him in this weight class. I hope you guys know no one else has a chance. Yuri has no chance. Jamal has no chance. Khalil has no chance. Uberg has no chance. No one has a chance. If he wants to go up and risk himself and then go against bigger guys, maybe that could be more close or interesting. But I'm telling you, this guy's the best. This guy he's going to be pound for pound number 1 in his life. I'm telling you, quote me on this. He will be pound for pound number 1 eventually. Time will tell how long, but trust me when I say this guy is the truth, and no one's going to touch him. Number 5, Magomed Ankalaev, brother. You guys better hit a dollar for me, because he deserves this shit. He should have debuted top 5 pound for pound, but I knew to make this happen, Jones would not have to be in the top 5, and Dana would never let that shit slide. But, you know, from people with real IQ, real bad man IQ, number 5, this makes sense, brother. All right. Number 4, by the way, we got Dricus Du Plessis. The UFC has Merab number 4, but I think Dricus is number 4. Last 3 fights, Strickland W, Adesanya W, and Strickland W. Before that Strickland W, he also beat Whitaker. You know what I'm saying? And what's good about the Strickland Ws, I know it's like, oh, we beat Strickland twice, big whoop. Look at the first fight with Strickland. And look at the second fight with Strickland. Look at the adjustments. Look how he 50-45 and shut down Strickland. You know what I'm saying? It's different the way he fought him this time around. Yeah, Dricus is the truth, man. He just kind of shut down Strickland. He's showing improvement. Even though when, like, from Strickland to Adesanya, there was a big improvement. And then from Adesanya to the next Strickland fight, there was a huge improvement. He's only getting better. You know, this one's a weird one. Like I said, in this video, I made Hamza make his debut with number 15. You know, the number 15, in my opinion, pound for pound, is going to go against the number 4, probably next. And it's going to be a big fight, you know, Dricus versus Hamza. I think I'd give Hamza the edge, I can't lie, but I said Dricus is a juggernaut, and if anyone could beat Hamza, it's Dricus. That's it. Like, in my opinion, if anyone can beat him, it's only Dricus. Not Fluffy, not any of these other guys. I'm telling you right now, it's only Dricus. Just because his will to win and his fortitude to fight, bro. This guy's mindset is different. He's like my favorite champ mentality-wise. Because, like, I remember he was literally begging for a Hamza fight, and the UFC's like, no, I'm giving you Strickland. What the hell? And he just beat the hell out of Strickland. Like, yo, don't ever disrespect me like that again. So beat the beats on Strickland. You know what I'm saying? So I like Dricus. I like his mentality. He's my favorite champion, like, mentality-wise. Of course, I have, like, Islam, who's my favorite, and then Magomed, who I like as well. But as far as mentality, you can't touch Dricus, in my opinion. Even I love Balal too, but this guy's is just different, man. His mentality, man. You guys, I don't know how anyone can hate Dricus Du Plessis, man. You know, this guy's the truth. So yeah, number 4 is a fair spot for me. Now we're in the top 3. You know what I'm saying? This is where it gets interesting because the UFC had John Jones top 3 and I just don't. So the number 3 spot is Merab Dvalishvili. The UFC had Topuria here. And you know what's weird about this one? This one was close. Like, let me say this. Damn near everyone in the top 3 is interchangeable. Merab's so good. Last 4 fights, Umar W, which I think is such a good W. That might be the best win on a pound-for-pound list ever. Even though Umar's not even pound-for-pound, this guy's just really good. And I know Umar's talent, so the fact that Merab beat him, I thought Umar won the first 3 rounds, but the fact that even, you know, Merab survived the onslaught, got rocked and all that stuff, and still won, he's very good. Sugar W, easy. Cejudo W, the Yan W, bro. He might have the best resume. He does have the best resume, like, name value-wise, like, out of everyone on this list. This is my opinion. You can't argue with it. You could try, but it won't work. I think Merab's really good, dude. So yeah, number 3. I think he should be acknowledged as top 3 pound for pound, but the UFC obviously doesn't want to acknowledge him like that because then they're gonna have to probably take away Jones. They just don't want to. The Jones thing, and considering Jones is not gonna fight Aspinall, and I know people think Jones is gonna fight Aspinall. I know Dana White's teasing it. That's never gonna happen. They need to let go of Jones now, so we get Merab in the top 3 pound for pound. Merab's gonna win his next fight because it's against Sugar as well. Or it's going to be promoted to be against Sugar because Dana White's so desperate to get a superstar champion in the picture or something. So he's trying to try to give Sugar one more shot. Sugar's going to get beat by even worse fashion. He's coming off of surgery. This guy's going to get whatever. Easy win for Merab. So maybe he's going to go up to top 3 eventually. We'll see, bro. But yeah, number 3, Merab makes the most sense for me. Number 2 spot, we got Ilia Topuria. The UFC had John Jones, of course, but John Jones is number 8 on my list. Last 3 fights, Max W, Volk W. Best back-to-back wins in UFC history. And he also beat Emmett 50-44, just brutalizing him. I'm pretty sure there was a 10-7 round there. Like a 10, there's not much 10-7 rounds. The fact that Ilia did that to Emmett, that's showing how heavy these guys' hands is. So yeah, Ilia Topuria, man, he's different, man. He's special, and he's relinquished his belt at featherweight, and he's going up to 155. Either the best career choice or the worst. We're gonna find out. We're literally gonna listen. He could have ruined his career. He could have made or broke his career right there. We're gonna find out depending who he fights. Like if he gets an Armin fight, then GG's, man. Like what now? If you get an Islam fight, it's better because like at least if you lose, you lost to a champion. But you know what I'm saying? Be careful with these contenders. If it's a contender, it better be like a Charles. Even though it's a hard fight, you probably win that. Or Dustin's a hard fight too. Like I don't know. Just make it smart. Make it a smart fight, dude. I don't know, maybe bring back Conor McGregor. I don't fucking know. But like he's gotta pick his fight smartly. Because moving out of 145 might have cost him his career. But number 2 is the appropriate spot, which means number 1 is the undefeated king, Islam Makhachev. UFC, of course, agrees with me because you can't disagree with this. Facts don't care about opinions. Last 3 fights, I know Moicano W sounds weird, but we all know Armin Sarukian is scared, brother. This guy run, brother, you know. He had a special trick that fight week. The whole special trick is watch me Houdini out of this fight. Corny ass kid, bro. So Moicano W, cool. Dustin W, great. Volk W, of course, he had the Charles W too. No one's touching Islam. No one's going to beat him in 155. I do still want to see the Armin fight. I don't know when Armin, if ever, is gonna get another opportunity, but we're gonna have to see in it. Like I don't know, man. But like I said, Islam pound for pound number 1. It shouldn't be up for debate. It should be everyone's number 1. But yeah, this is what I think the pound for pound list is. I think this is pretty objectively fair. I know, of course, people are gonna disagree with the Jones if you're like a diehard Jones fans, but listen, brother, activity. I feel like activity is important and pound for pound, as in like your last 3 fights, one of them should not be in 2020. It shouldn't be in 1998, bro. Like, we're in 2025, dude. At least fight a little bit consistent. And the fact that he's ducking Aspinall is not making him any friends. So I don't really care about what you guys think about Jones. But let me know what you think about this entire list overall. That's it for me. And God bless. 2, 3.